Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are running a surplus, finally, and we're also working on getting some of these power plants and universities finished up. That'll all finish up actually quite soon here, and that's good, because, oh, compulsory primary school. We got an advance? Sure. Apparently the industrialists helped hide child laborers. Okay, well, sure. That's not exactly what we want them to be doing, so they can stop that. The industrialists aren't very happy right now, but it's okay. So we're just working our way through here. We're finishing up our last university. We're starting work on it now, actually. And our power plants, they've got a ways to go. There's no doubt about that. We're still working on some wheat farms here. We are at about a 46 million GDP, so that's definitely trending upwards still, and that's great. In fact, if we look at this, we can see it's definitely leveled off a little bit from our previous investment, but it's going pretty well. I like it. And the landowners are now, oh, their opinion dropped. Right. Okay. Well, that's going to drop our income a little bit. That's not ideal, but as long as we're paying off this debt at some amount, I'm okay with it. Now, you might ask, why is our interest exactly where it was when we started paying off our debt? The answer to that is because, oh, it doesn't actually show here because I guess it only goes back to where I started up the game today. But the interest rate I noticed at the end of last episode, the interest rate changed on us. So our interest rate went up. So we ended up paying the same amount in interest, even though we had less debt, as you can see from the gold reserves here. I don't know why this chart is only showing back to August, but okay, whatever. I guess it's fine. So our final university here is going to be done in 7 weeks. That is looking great, and if we check in here, we can see we're not actually getting our innovation cap. That's noted. Okay, we're going to keep an eye on that as we get these universities done. I think electrification is definitely going to be a big priority for us. We have a lot of power plants to go here, and once we get done with these wheat farms, which will be soon, that will be quite soon. Once we get done with these wheat farms, we're going to move up the cattle ranches and just continue to intersperse it. That will be absolutely fine. Now, our investment pool is still growing, it is not shrinking, and that means that we should expand our construction sector further. But for the moment, I want to be working on paying down our debt. So we're down to 19.6 million in credit, and we can see that our interest payment has dropped down to 29.4. It's better, but Catholic political strength, huh? No. No, thank you. So that is fine for now, and our GDP is definitely not as explosive as it was, and that's because we're making long-term investments right now rather than short-term investments. This will certainly pay off, and that seems great. There's not a lot that we can do militarily, although I notice we're done colonizing, so we should actually drop our colonial affairs down to level 1. So that seems good. We're going to do that. No more colonization to be done down here. There's just Great Britain. And we absolutely can't take on Great Britain. This is not going to be a thing. So unless we have a really good opportunity, which I don't foresee anytime soon. Netherlands over here, I'm wondering, the US is Netherlands overlord? Interesting. So that pretty much means that there's not really anything that we can do about any of this up here at this moment. That's fine. We can just work internally. We can work on Bolivia. Bolivia is still dropping their liberty desire down, and that seems good. Now, we do have this wheat farm in Mendoza being worked on, and we could move that up. I'm not going to do that, though. We're about to finish up this power plant in Bahia, which means that we're now maximally working on that wheat farm, and that's okay. We're going to finish that in 5 weeks, but I do want to get these power plants as online as possible. My question is, how expensive is running these power plants? Okay, noted. So that is fine for now. We are going to be moving up these livestock ranches very soon here in about 2 weeks, and that'll be fine. So our income is remaining roughly the same. It's going to take some time to get this paid off, but we can see our interest is definitely going down, but it's going down pretty slowly. That's understood. Okay, there's that wheat gone. Another advance here. Wow. 20% of lower strata pops in Sao Paulo becoming more loyalist. I feel like we don't actually need that, but it is very good. Sao Paulo has... What kind of population does that actually have? Where is Sao Paulo? I don't know my Brazilian geography as well as I should. Here we go. I knew it was one of these coastal ones. So there we go. The population here is 1.37 million. That's pretty high population, actually. So that'll probably be reasonably good. Yeah, that's a pretty decent chunk. Okay, that seems reasonably fine. So we do definitely want to move up these livestock ranches for sure. And we'll just do something like that. And then, of course, we're going to take these guys up to the top. And the livestock ranches are going to get interspersed within. But this is kind of the inverse order from how this is supposed to be. So there we go. Now the livestock ranches will get interspersed within, kind of like that. This power plant can be moved up and can be placed about here. Then this power plant would be moved up and would be placed about here. Then this power plant would be here, like that. Okay, so that sounds good for the time being. We're once again going to be working primarily on power plants, but not exclusively. So that seems okay. We need to get electrification in every single state, and then we can turn on our electric production methods. We don't need it in every state. We could do that piecemeal, but for now, this is the way we're going to do this. We're going to get electrification done in every state, then we're going to turn on those production methods, and that will dramatically change things in our economy. No doubt about that. We see good private constructions here. Steel mills, fertilizer plant, couple of motor industries. I like it. That is very solid. And these livestock ranches are going to be worked through reasonably quickly. No doubt about that. So we're currently primarily working on livestock ranches, but I'm just alternating between them so that it's roughly 50-50, but it's a lot more expensive to build a power plant than it is to build a livestock ranch, as you might expect. Gold has been discovered in Arcania. Wonderful. We are very happy about that. It is gold fields, not gold mines. Noted. So that is fantastic. And we're going to continue... Oh, oil in Pastaza. We're getting a lot of oil and rubber, and both of those are very, very valuable. So that's fantastic. More power plants coming through, though, we absolutely are delighted about. So that looks good. This power plant is going to finish, and yeah, I'm not going to move anything up here. This is completely fine as it is. So the next question is, when are we going to move up these coffee plantations? Well, the answer to that is after we finish the livestock ranches. I'm going to continue this like 50-50 here, so that'll be fine. Additional assimilation is very good. We'll definitely take that. Wow, another advance here. Okay. Well, we'll take a 15% enactment success chance. We're up to 75 now. The Catholic Party has been formed. Venezuela sided with Great Britain in the diplomatic play against Mangbetu. Okay, whatever. And how's this election looking? National Liberation Alliance with 54.8% of the vote. Okay. So the Catholics are kind of irrelevant at this point. That sounds good. Also irrelevant, the landowners. Like, I mean, they're in the Minas Republican Party, but nobody really cares about the Minas Republican Party, except that they're getting momentum. Okay. Political strength of aristocrats and political strength from the votes of farmers. I don't love it, but it's okay. I want the National Liberation Alliance to continue to win this. A compulsory primary school should pass, in theory. But we got like 1 million advances in a row, rather than progressing up to voting. So we'll see how that ends up going. And we're also continuing to work on these power plants. Still 3 years here, huh? I don't know how accurate this really is. Because we're definitely getting through these power plants relatively quickly, as far as building power plants go, right? We also are sitting at a pretty decent surplus of 20k right now, which is remarkable to me considering our GDP has leveled out or even fallen a little bit. That is remarkable to me that our income has come up that much, but I think it's, well, not necessarily due to interest, although interest is definitely a big part of it. We are paying this down reasonably quickly. Every 5 weeks, this is going to go down by 0.1, so that looks good. Excellent. So that looks very solid there, and this is a lot of power plants being worked on all at once. That's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. And we hit a stall. Wow, we've had really bad luck on this study roll. Okay, we can definitely take a setback here, but that's going to hurt our bureaucracy. Wow, that was a really, really unlucky roll. We're going to have an election in 80 days, and we'll see where that puts our legitimacy at. It'll be interesting, for sure. So our power plants in Pernambuco are 4 weeks away right now. For whom the bell tolls indeed. Do we want the Minas Republican Party to gain momentum? No, we don't. So that is fine. The Minas Republican Party is not really associated with the direction we're trying to go here, and that is not what we're looking for at all. Cool. Checking in at Bolivia here, they're going to drop down in Liberty Desire very soon. So we're going to be able to drop their autonomy soon, and that is very good. I'm actually incredibly pleased about that. More power plants finishing up, and that is excellent. Of course, these are expensive to run at this time. But that's not surprising at all. Aggressive campaigning, huh? A pack of miscreants indeed. The National Liberation Alliance made a mistake there, and they shouldn't have. But this is all okay. We're making good progress on these power plants. We are, of course, going to be bringing up these coffee plantations fairly soon, but we're definitely progressing nicely here. Excellent. So these livestock ranches will finish up soon enough, and that is all looking good. 17.3k is our current surplus, and we're down to 28.1k in interest. That's about 1.5k that we've shaved off of our interest payment, so I like it. And there's our colonial affairs going down, putting our bureaucracy back into a reasonable spot. So that looks perfect. Absolutely wonderful. We're seeing some tooling workshops and coal mines going in. So there's our election. The National Liberation Alliance wins a plurality of the vote. And we're probably, yeah, we're still in a righteous government 91 here. We're going to leave this be exactly where it's at. We did progress up to voting on compulsory primary school. It's about time. And that sounds great. So we've got 3 more livestock ranches here that are going to be finished up quite shortly, in fact. That's going very well. We're also seeing our GDP start to rise again. I like it. I want to check in here. Almost 1 million peasants. And our unemployment has risen a little as well. Noted. To that end, I'm going to increase our construction by 3. Something like that. Okay. So we're going to get these done. That's going to increase our construction, and it's going to improve our investment pool situation a little bit. We definitely do need to increase our construction, but I'm also interested in paying off our debt. And it's a balancing act at this point. We need to do both. So for now, let's expand our construction a little bit and see where that puts us. Okay, 14.6 for now. That number will continue to change for a few weeks here. 6.94. Okay, that's approximately where we expected to be. And there's compulsory primary school. So that sounds good. We would love to bump up our education access here. That is going to be 357 bureaucracy in total that we need for that. Okay, so 357 means 2 would be 130. 4 would then be 260. We must be approaching our economy of scale cap here, right? No, it's 50. Okay. So we can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here in Minas Gerais. That is going to be a lot of paper upkeep, but that's noted. I'm then also going to move up these power plants, and we're going to intersperse power plants and livestock ranches with these government administrations for right now. So we're going to do something like this. Ish. This guy should actually move to here. But something like this-ish for now. Okay, so we're still running a small surplus. I think this is a pretty decent spot for us to sit. I'm definitely interested in continuing to construct at a faster rate. We do need to expand our construction a little bit more beyond this, I suspect, based on our investment pool growth. But not by much. Okay, we're pretty close to where we need to be in construction, but we're not quite there. So I think we just need to continue to pay off our debt a little bit. Workplace Safety Office institution investment. Can we actually, do we have Workplace Safety Office? No, we don't. So that's something we might be interested in putting in here. Workers' protections. Actually, regulatory bodies is much better for us. I don't actually want to raise our minimum wage because of the way that price caps work in this game. Raising minimum wage is, at least last time I played, unless there have been changes to this, that is bad. So we want to be in regulatory bodies specifically just to reduce the dangerous working conditions without increasing the minimum wage. For one thing, I'm not too concerned about our standard of living. So that'll be fine. Let's get this regulatory body in. And who actually opposes this? The industrialists. Yeah, I'm not shocked about that one. Okay, so we're continuing to work on this. I want to bring up this livestock ranch to be here. And then we'll move up this power plant to here. We'll move this power plant up to here. That'll be fine for now. We're just interspersing the government administrations and the power plants for the moment. Now, our income has recovered. So arguably, we maybe should build more construction sectors. Arguably. Let's give it a moment here and see where it sits. Okay. Yeah, it's hovering right at about 18. So in theory, 2 additional construction sectors would be the target here. And that should be relatively fine. Now, this number is likely fake, 25.9k. I don't expect that to be the real position that we're at. Yeah, I expect us to be more like about 18k, and then this should drop us to somewhere around 6 or 7k. Is, in theory, where we expect this to sit. So that'll be fine. We apparently have a good vintage here, and let's take... Wine is really, really cheap. We'll take prestige out of that. I don't want to lower the price of wine even more. So that's fine. Central planning has now been unlocked. That gives us 5% government dividends efficiency, as well as some taxation capacity, and gives us access to telephone switchboards. So that means that we could cancel these government administrations, and we could put in government, or rather telephone switchboards right now. That'll massively boost up our bureaucracy generation up to a lot. But it'll spike the price of telephones. That's understood. Then we can go into our institutions, and we can bump up our education up to the maximum, like this. That looks great. Now, we are negative financially right now. This is because there's a telephone input goods shortage. This isn't shocking. It's 328. And we are going to need... Well, actually, we do have some electrics industries, we know. Only the one? Only the one, I think. Yes. So only the one in Sao Paulo. So that is going to be producing 60 per level. So that'll boost us up, but we're going to need roughly another 260-ish. Well, a few more anyway. So here in Sao Paulo, we do see that we have 54k peasants. So let's build in... I'm actually wanting to build in Minas Gerais. This is very, very efficient here. This is where we need them. So how many peasants do we have here? None. Well, 3.59k. Noted. So at 60 per level, this is 60, 120. This is then going to be 180. And now it drops down markedly. I'm going to make one more, bringing us up to 240. Okay. So we're going to bring this power plant up. I'm going to put this government administration here, and then we'll do something kind of like this for now. We did cancel those existing non-productive government administrations, and we'll just do something kind of like this for right now. Okay, we're running a pretty big deficit, but that is expected at this time due to the cost of telephones. I'm not surprised about that one. So we can go over to like the electric arc process, and that seems pretty decent. Yes, a shortage of telephones is absolutely expected, and I actually kind of want to move up these electrics industries to be like building 2 at a time, something like this. So we'll get those worked on and underway nice and quickly. But yes, obviously, it's a pretty big deficit, and it's not great. This is going to be because of the price of telephones, primarily, and also paper. Paper is kind of up there. Let's check in on the price of paper. Telephones is, of course, maxed, but paper is at -4. Okay, so I'm not too concerned about paper, then. Sounds great. These government administrations are going to be finishing, and we're going to be starting on the other 2 electrics industries fairly soon here. So that looks fantastic. Cool. So that should deal with the majority of our input goods shortage, and we should be populating up our existing electrics industry in Sao Paulo. It's hiring, but they don't want to work for that wage. Noted. So the price of lead is up a little bit, as is the price of iron. Okay. But they are hiring in here. The price of telephones is maxed, so it's as good as it's going to get, other than, like, tanking the price of their input goods. But this is fine. So yeah, this is definitely very, very negative for us financially, but we knew that this would be the case. We've got a lot of bureaucracy at this point, so we're not going to need government administration headroom for a good long time. So that seems fine. Now, we could cancel this government administration. I'm not going to do that, but we probably should, in all honesty. Ooh, manufacturing industry throughput, huh? Okay. Well, it's not great. That's going to have an effect on the economy. Workers are currently striking for regulatory bodies. That will help us pass it. But it's not phenomenal. Minus 100K now? Okay. Yeah. I knew that we would have a big shortage of telephones. No surprises there. We're currently working on 2 electrics industries. There might be some coming in the private construction as well. No, they're not. But there might eventually be. Okay. So these are going to be done very, very soon here. 7 and 8 weeks respectively. But this is going to wipe out basically all of the gains that we made in paying off of our debt. That's understood. That's fine. There's a reason we were paying that when we were. Because we could and we should. We could import telephones. What would that be like? No one makes telephones for import. Okay, fair enough. So we're going to have to make our own telephones here. Our last government administration is finishing now. That's going to put full production into all of these electrics industries. That's perfect. And how much more do we have for power plants here? It's definitely coming down. Noted. Well, we're 3 weeks away from getting a significant bump to our telephone production. That will be very helpful to us financially. No doubt about that. 2 weeks away from it now, and our regulatory bodies go up to voting. I like it. So we're currently at 1.49% prop growth. I do want that to continue to come up. And our peasant count is definitely increasing. Our unemployment count is as well. So we'll keep an eye on that situation. For now, this appears to be reasonably okay. Those electrics industries in Minas Gerais are now done, and I want to check in on them and see how they do on hiring. Okay, so they'll not try again until 28 December. But that should be a thing. So this is rubber here. Rubber is low price right now. We definitely do want to get some rubber, but let's see if we hire in. Yeah, okay. So we're hiring here. Perfect. We're starting to produce some telephones. We have 1 telephone production here right now. Now we have 3 telephones being produced. Okay, cool. So that is hiring in. That looks good. That will start to drop down our deficit of telephones down to 351. And we've got 16 weeks until a second round of Electrics Industries finish up with another production run of 120 if that gets maxed. So that looks okay for now. And we're definitely building these power plants. They are not the best construction efficiency, but that's to be expected. These are locations where it's kind of hard to build in anyway, and some of them have a little bit of turmoil still. We're working on that. It's definitely getting a lot better. Hell on Earth, huh? We can have some additional rubber reduction in its throughput. Our rubber price is very low right now, so that is fine. We're overproducing our rubber currently. Regulatory bodies goes through. Excellent. So now we're going to bump our workplace safety office all the way up to here. The dangerous working conditions is going to drop markedly. So that seems fantastic. I'd still like to get our health system investment level up a bit, but for now, this is looking good. We're up to 1.5% population growth annually, and that sounds excellent. 4 weeks away from getting an additional electrics industry finished up here. And are we fully hired in Minas Gerais right now, is my question. No, we're not. So we're actually starting to drop the price of telephones already. That's really good. Really, really solid here. This is the number 381 electrics, or no, this is the number 1 electrics industry in the world. No one else is building telephones yet. Interesting. We're ahead of the curve on this one. I like it. So the price on telephones is dropping, and we can see our deficit is as well. That is the cause of the deficit. And we're just going to continue to hire in here until this reaches some form of equilibrium. We're no longer seeing a market goods shortage there. Fantastic. However, the price of telephones is still high. If we check in here, the price of telephones is currently 43.7K of our deficit, which is our entire deficit. So that sounds good. We're going to continue to expand that. We are about to finish up a 4th electrics industry in Minas Gerais, which will, of course, give us an economy of scale. This is now maxed out on its hiring. Okay. So we're going to finish this one, and let's see what that does to the price. So we're 1 week away from that, and we should probably consider also moving up these coffee plantations, which we're going to do. So the coffee plantations move to the top, and we want to move this electrics industry to the top. These power plants are going to go up for sure, and I'm going to move these power plants up as well. And the electrics industry goes up like so, and we just do something like this. Perfect. And then the coffee plantations will be interspersed in like so. Okay. So that'll be fine. No problem there. This power plant can end up going here. This power plant can go here. This one here. This one here. And this one here. Excellent. So that looks good. Those electrics industries are now done. Let's check in on the employment in Minas Gerais. This is maximized. And the price of telephones is still a little bit up, but it is dramatically reduced. Cool. Our deficit, on the other hand, isn't. And that's because we're buying both telephones and paper now. So that is going to be a little bit painful for us. We'll have to kind of grow into this. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely use, I think, a 5th electrics industry here. Let's get going on that. So that seems fine. We're going to continue to work on these coffee plantations, of course. Our education investment went up. That seems good. And from here, it is about time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see what this ends up looking like for our deficit. We've got a pretty decent deficit here. And we may want to consider a quick tax rise to deal with that. What does that put us on? for legitimacy. It's okay. It's not great. But you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Tommy Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.